Brock is still receiving his pension from the Teamsters even while he makes $1 million a year fighting unions.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Boss Watch is a segment that we do every week where we take a look at what bosses were up to in the southern United States. And we have been doing this by taking a look at press releases from federal agencies that enforce laws that protect working people, agencies like the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, the Mine Safety and Health Administration, the Department of Labor, the Environmental Protection Agency, etc., etc. But as we have been noting for the last few weeks, since the Trump administration took office, those enforcement actions have come to a complete standstill. So presumably, that means that all the bosses are on their best behavior. Somehow, immediately after Trump came in, after we had seen years of multiple stories, sometimes dozens of stories just in the southern United States of bosses stealing from workers, of bosses killing workers, of bosses polluting the environment, of bosses exploiting children. All of this stuff has magically ended and none of it's happening anymore. Obviously, that's foolish. If you believe that, your brain is very smooth and you should seek medical attention for your problems. So we are having to kind of rework how we construct Boss Watch, how we try to survey, how we try to kind of get a general survey of what bosses are doing to workers across the southern United States. And so we've been having to rely more on reporting, which is obviously difficult because reporters do not have a legal right to access workplace facilities like an OSHA inspector does. But, some reporters are doing the Lord's work, like McKenna Schuler for the Orlando Weekly. She is reporting on a story where a restaurant worker at the University City Walk's Cowfish Sushi Burger Bar in Orlando. That's a mouthful. That's the name of a restaurant right there. A restaurant worker there in Orlando, Florida, filed a lawsuit against Universal, accusing the billion-dollar entertainment complex of stealing her lawfully earned wages. I'm reading this directly from her reporting in the Orlando Weekly. I'm leaving like 70% of the article out, so you're going to want to check it out and read the whole thing because there's some good stuff there that I want you to check out. But Tanya Roberts, 57, was a food runner of about 1 year, and she specifically contends in her lawsuit that Universal improperly utilized Florida's tip credit, ultimately paying her less than what she was lawfully owed for her work. Florida's current minimum wage for non-tipped workers is $13 an hour, while workers who earn tips must be paid a minimum wage of at least $9.98 an hour. For tipped workers, that can include a tipped credit of up to $3.02 an hour, meaning an employer can count up to $3.02 of the hourly minimum in earned tips. Essentially, the tip credit allows employers to pay workers a lower base wage with the expectation that earned tips will make up the difference. Roberts' lawsuit, however, accuses Universal, one of the largest employers in Central Florida, of improperly using the tip credit by too often assigning her side work that was not tip producing, for instance, getting plates and silverware together and preparing sauces. According to the lawsuit, Roberts was asked to perform excessive amounts of such side work every shift, often for hours at a time, before and after and during Roberts' tip-producing activities. The complaint states that altogether this non-tip-producing side work made up more than 20% of her total work each week in violation of the U.S. Department of Labor's interpretation of how to properly utilize the tip credits system. The lawsuit also argues Universal Orlando improperly used a tipping pool system by distributing tips to tipped workers as well as non-tipped employees who have a higher minimum wage floor. Roberts herself told Orlando Weekly in a phone call that she only realized she was being underpaid after she reached out to a lawyer after facing what she described as retaliation for speaking up about unsanitary kitchen equipment. Back in September, she said she complained to management about dirty bottles containing sauces for customers' food. She was told to take photos of the bottles, sometimes containing traces of multiple sauces, and yet the problem did not get better. I was told to put new labels on expired sauces, she alleged in a text.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
Universal's theme parks division, extending beyond its park in Orlando, reported $8.6 billion in revenue in 2024, down 3.7% from 2023, according to Theme Park Insider. The entertainment complex, owned by parent company Comcast, is also getting ready to open up its highly anticipated Epic Universe theme park at Universal Orlando Resort in May. You can read her full report with more information and context with the article titled "Restaurant Worker at Universal Orlando City Walk Files Lawsuit Over Wage Theft." Of course, for the last few weeks, we have been partnering with Labor Lab. Labor Lab is a employer watchdog organization. They are committed to safeguarding the right to organize through unions, collective bargaining, and mutual aid. They do this by combing through reports that union busters are required to file with the Department of Labor. This segment of Boss Watch is Union Busters. These are the new reports filed with the Department of Labor last week. Gen 4/Gilbert Power/ Schuylkill Energy in Pennsylvania hired East Coast Labor Relations, doing business as Reliant Labor Consultants, to union bust at multiple locations for $3,800 a day. This is interesting about the company. East Coast Labor Relations provides union avoidance services to employers. They advertise that their consultants are former high-ranking union officials and that they are bilingual. The language on Reliant Labor Consulting's website is identical. Their services include avoiding, preventing, and fighting a union. Additionally, they run Mayberry Productions that specializes in producing video content for union avoidance campaigns. Joseph Brock, president of the union busting firm, was the president of Teamsters Local 830 in Philadelphia. Brock lost a contentious election for local president in 2007 and was ousted from the local Teamsters office. According to Brock, he left the Teamsters because, quote, he became disillusioned with what happens behind the scenes with unions, particularly when contracts are being negotiated, unquote. Definitely not because he lost an election. Brock is still receiving his pension from the Teamsters even while he makes $1 million a year fighting unions. Brock identifies as an unabashed liberal union buster. That said, he helped defeat a union campaign at the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas in 2014. Just scum of the earth. I have also sent Joseph Brock an email inviting him to debate on the show. So maybe we'll see Joseph Brock debating us about unions in the future and why he still takes a Teamsters pension while he's making money fighting unions, including the pensions. What a scummy. I can't say it on the radio, but holy crap. Imperial Dade in Massachusetts hired Quest Consulting and Labor. Imperial Dade in Massachusetts hired Quest Consulting and Labor Management Associates for $225 an hour. The election was closed due to a regional director order, so the Union Busters won there. Jessica Thomas is the president of Quest Consulting in 2023. In 2023, Quest Consulting reported making $2.7 million from employers and dispersing $2.1 million to subcontractors. Quest Consulting is incorporated in Nevada. Labor Management Associates is a prolific and experienced union-busting firm run by Daniel Block, who has, at several points in his career, been associated with other prominent union-busting firms in the United States. Labor Management Associates often file legally mandated paperwork to the Department of Labor late, if at all. It appears also that the business license for LMA may be expired. Super great. Northwestern Medical Center in Vermont hired Heightened Solutions. They were subcontracted by the Vindex Group, who has not yet filed an LM20 for this work. The Vindex Group is based in Austin, Texas. According to the Texas Comptroller, the Vindex Group has an involuntarily ended status due to a tax or administrative forfeiture. Super, just totally great business people here. And finally, Amazon DCY1 in Connecticut hired Edward Hinkle, who was subcontracted by Road Warrior Productions, who have not yet filed an LM20 for this work.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.